Post-possession. What is that? Well, you're gonna start to see that a lot, especially if you are a buyer out here in Las Vegas and you are looking to submit an offer and you want your offer strong. First and foremost, let's talk about what is post-possession. So post-possession is basically you're allowing the person that sold you the home to stay in the home for a certain period of time for a certain dollar amount. Here in Las Vegas, a lot of sellers are selling their home to buy a brand new home or a resale home, but they actually need the proceeds from this home, not all the time, but once they close on this home, they don't want to move their furniture twice. So they would rather close on their home, stay in their home for about 1 to 2 weeks, and move their furniture into their new home that they close. Now with the post-possession, basically there's a fee on a post-possession. So this is how it works. If I close on my home today, but I need 2 weeks, I negotiate with the buyer as far as what the fees are going to be. So it could be $30 a day, $50, $60 a day, or $80 a day. It just depends. So let me give you a scenario what's taking place right now. I have a seller that we put the property on the market and we got it under contract. And our closing date is going to be August 13th. However, we need about 35 days roughly to move into the next property because we're closing on August 13th on the home that he's selling, but a couple days later he's taking the proceeds from that home and utilizing that to purchase his brand new home. Once he closes on his brand new home, he also needs time to move his furniture in. Typically how it's negotiated with a post-possession, right? There's going to be a deposit. Typically it's about $2,000 deposit depending on how big the house is gonna be, how big the loan is, right? So how do we determine how much per diem that you're gonna be paying every single day? So let me kind of run you through the whole scenario of my seller. So our closing date is gonna be August 13th. However, we need the property all the way until September 18th. So that's a total of 36 days. Now we are paying a per diem of $80 a day. So $80 a day, if he decides to stay for the full amount, the total amount that his rent's gonna be is $2,880. Now, like I said, that could also be negotiated. Now, if you are on the buying side, how do you determine how much you're going to charge? So let me give you an example. Especially if you are a buyer, right? And you want your offer even stronger, you're willing to do a post-possession and rent back for the seller or to the seller. So this is how you would figure it out. So once you get your lending estimate or your worksheet fee from your lender, that determines how much your monthly payments are going to be. So let's just say your monthly payments on your new mortgage will be about $3,000 a month. So if it's $3,000 a month, the best thing to do is take $3,000 divided by a 30 calendar day. That's $100 a day. So if the seller needs to stay there 45 days, you're going to take $100 times 45 days equals $4,500. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So that's what you're going to charge. Also, we have to talk about a deposit. A deposit, right, is roughly about $2,000 to $5,000. The reason why you're gonna have a deposit is so that way, once the seller vacates the property, they're gonna want their deposit back. So the higher the deposit is, the better it's going to be for you as a buyer. Because the last thing you wanna do is not have a deposit, seller moves out of the property, and the property is trashed. And now you have to pay to fix those items. So when you have a larger deposit from the seller that's held into an escrow account, then at that point, the seller's gonna want their money back. So what you're gonna do is negotiate a higher deposit, but you're also gonna say that you wanna do a walkthrough to the property 3 days before the end of that lease agreement, of that post-possession. So that way you can walk through the property, make sure everything is all good, and at that point you can contact escrow to release the money. Now, you're gonna do that once they vacated the property. Now let's talk about utilities. Who pays for the utilities? The seller will still keep the utilities in their name as far as gas, electric, right? The phone bills and all that stuff. The only thing that the buyer would be responsible for is the HOA fees, sewage, and the trash. So that's something that you have to keep in mind and factor into your cost of what you are charging that seller. Now, everything is going to be based upon a per diem. Now, just because a seller's asking for 45 days, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get $4,500, guys. It could only take them 7 days to move out. If that's the case, it's $700. You do your final walk inspections to make sure the home is great and that they have vacated the property. Now you're gonna reach on out to title to release those funds back to the seller. So in this scenario, our client needs a post-possession of 36 days. And we negotiated the contract to be $80 a day. This is when they actually submitted the purchase agreement. So we agreed to those terms. So today I finally got the post-possession addendum to the purchase agreement to spell out what are the deposits and what are the total fees. So here it says that our deposit is going to be $2,000. Now the total amount to stay in the property is going to be $2,980. However, I went back and I looked at the purchase agreement and realized it was only $80 a day. So if it's only $80 a day, and if we take a look from August 13th to September 18th, it's really only 36 days. Okay, and the total price on here should only be $2,880. Okay, they are charging us $80 more. I know that sounds like I'm nitpicking for $80 more, but you gotta understand, as an agent or as a buyer or seller, you need to make sure that you are working with the right agent to really understand these contracts and how all this stuff really works. Look, like I said, it's $80, but you know what? That's $80 for my client. Okay. Why spend the extra $80? That's a lot of money. That's a dinner. So my point here is that you got to understand the marketplace. Your buyer's agent has to really understand the contracts. Your agent that's helping you sell the property also has to understand the contract and really take a look at all this stuff before you sign anything. That's the most important part. So hopefully this helped you guys out as far as what is a post-possession and how this can actually help and benefit you on your next purchase out here if your seller needs a post-possession or lease back, right? We call it lease back. Now, if you guys are looking to purchase a brand new home out here in Las Vegas, make sure to visit our website, New Home of Las Vegas. Or if you're looking to purchase a resale home in today's market, make sure to visit lvhomeexperts.com. I'm Chakits. Be blessed, folks. Peace.